She texted me, "Locks changed. You have no home." I was standing by the dessert table at my sister's engagement party when I read it. My thumb hovered over the screen, the glow of her message catching in the silver trim of a nearby cake knife. No warning, no conversation, just a single sentence, signed with a period like it was meant to seal a coffin. Around me, glasses clinked and laughter rose like smoke into the summer evening. I didn't flinch, didn't make a scene. I slipped the phone into my pocket and smiled because I'd already made my move long before she made hers. It wasn't always like this. There was a time I thought my mother would die for me. She was the one who stayed when my father didn't. She raised me in a house where we weren't rich, but pride hung heavier than wallpaper. Reputation was everything too. Her appearances were her religion. When I earned scholarships and climbed my way into a stable career, she wore it like a medal. "My son," she'd beam, placing her hand over my chest in front of her friends, "the man of the house." I believed it. I believed her until the will. My grandfather died the previous spring, left behind real legacy, land, property, accounts, equity, things that hold weight for generations. He named me executor, looked me in the eye and said, "Keep it in the family, but keep it fair." What I didn't know was that my mother had already decided what fair meant. To her, it meant hers alone. She didn't want to split a cent, not with my aunt, and not with me. She wanted control without question, silence without resistance. It started small. Papers missing from my locked drawer, subtle, like a draft you can't find the window for. Then, bank accounts moved without my signature. One evening, I caught her whispering on the kitchen phone, eyes on the floor, saying, "He doesn't know. By the time he figures it out, it'll be done." She was talking about me. I didn't confront her. That would have been emotional, messy, too easy to write off. Instead, I let her believe I was distracted, still her obedient son. I asked for her advice. I played dumb, while she forged fake sale agreements and routed estate assets through back channels. I was collecting everything. I documented every forged signature, every missing cent, every midnight transaction. I recorded calls. I listened closely when her lawyer slipped up. I waited for the crack in the foundation. The final shift came 2 weeks before that party. I visited the property my grandfather left us and saw for sale signs already in the ground. She hadn't told me, never asked. She assumed the documents she'd forged were bulletproof. She thought family would keep me quiet. She thought wrong. The next morning, I filed a motion quietly, precisely. I handed over everything. The falsified deeds, the tampered bank records, the chain of ownership she'd tried to bury. I didn't send her a message. I let her feel invincible, let her sip wine and smile like the world was hers. Then came the engagement party, the laughter, the lights strung across the lawn, the delicate cakes in neat rows. Then her text, "Locks changed. You have no home." She thought she struck first, but by then, I'd already frozen the estate. The property couldn't be sold, the funds couldn't move, and her legal team was starting to panic. 2 days later, her lawyer left me a voicemail with clipped breath and false calm. "We need to fix this urgently. Please return our call." I didn't. I let them sit in silence and uncertainty. When I finally walked into that meeting, she was there. Not the polished woman who raised me, but smaller. Her blouse was wrinkled, her hair uncombed, hands trembling slightly in her lap. She looked at me like I was someone she didn't recognize. "You really want to do this to your mother?" she asked, voice too soft. I tilted my head. "You changed the locks." She blinked, voice cracking. "I just changed the keys." I laid everything out. The emails she thought she'd deleted, the shadow transfers, the fabricated buyers, the clause in the will that voided her claim if she was caught committing fraud. Her lawyer looked like he'd swallowed gravel. Her face clenched tight as stone. "You can't do this," she whispered. "You're my son." I smiled again, the same smile I wore at the party. "No, I was your son. You made me your opponent." The judge granted the injunction that week. The property sale nullified. The accounts frozen for further investigation. My aunt, the one she erased from every conversation, finally got her share. And me? I didn't move back into the house. Not out of spite, because I'd outgrown it. Outgrown her. People ask if I regret it. If I feel guilt for tearing apart my own blood, but betrayal doesn't knock before it enters, and justice doesn't ask permission. She taught me that one lie, one lock, one forged document at a time. All I did was return the favor, not with screaming, not with vengeance, with precision, with silence, with finality. She hasn't called since, but it's her silence that tells me everything. That's the loudest confession of all.